turn on President Trump. The man at the center of the Ukraine controversy, Ambassador Gordon Sondland, in the most meetings, the most contact with President Trump. Was he following orders from the president when he pressed Ukraine to investigate Trump's political rivals?
Also breaking this morning, 2 American service members killed in a helicopter crash in Afghanistan. The Taliban now claiming responsibility.
Campus chaos. The FBI now investigating after a racist manifesto is airdropped onto students' phones in the library. The latest in a series of racist incidents rocking Syracuse University.
The 2 prison guards on duty the night Jeffrey Epstein died now facing charges. What they were searching for on the internet instead of monitoring the inmates.
Text message twist. The newly revealed messages between the Boston College student and her boyfriend moments before he took his life, as she now faces charges that she told him to kill himself.
Holiday shopping alert. The new warning about those popular gift cards, how hackers are draining the cash before you even buy them, and how you can tell.
And superstar surprise, Venus and Gronk teaming up to break it down on the court with the Laker girls, plus the moment history was made.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. Great night last night. Venus and Gronk getting a groove on the court. We're going to have more on that ahead to explain why.
He's got the routine down there. That looks like fun. But it is a big day. Let's get right to the latest on the impeachment showdown. What could be the most critical day so far about to begin on Capitol Hill. All eyes on Ambassador Gordon Sondland, the man in the middle of this controversy, about to testify this morning.
See, he had the most direct contact with President Trump. President Trump has called him a good man and a great American. Sondland also admits to telling Ukraine they wouldn't receive military aid or a White House meeting unless they publicly announced political investigations. The big question this morning, will he now say that he was following orders from the president? Our senior congressional correspondent Mary Bruce starts us off from the hearing room on Capitol Hill. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, this could be the most explosive testimony yet. In just a short time, Gordon Sondland, the diplomat at the center of the Ukraine controversy, will be sitting right here. He will be grilled about the role he played and the role that the president played in pushing Ukraine to investigate Trump's rivals. Sondland is a Trump mega donor who became his point person in Ukraine. He has had more direct conversations with the president than any other witness. Those conversations today will be under an intense microscope. And Sondland has already revised his testimony once. The question here today, will he change it again? This morning, the most anticipated witness yet, Gordon Sondland, the Trump mega donor turned U.S. ambassador to the EU, who became the middleman between President Trump and the Ukrainians.
Ambassador Sondland was in discussion with Ukrainian counterparts, with fellow diplomatic personnel, and the president, as well as at least one U.S. senator, about the course of events that we are investigating.
Sondland has already revised his testimony to admit he personally told the Ukrainians they would not receive nearly $400 million in critical military aid unless they publicly announced the political investigations Trump was demanding. The big question today, was he acting on direct orders from the president? Trump has tried to distance himself.
Let me just tell you, I hardly know the gentleman.
But other witnesses say Sondland, a wealthy hotel mogul with little diplomatic experience, bragged about his frequent contacts with the president. Diplomat David Holmes testified he overheard one of their phone calls in a restaurant in Kiev. Holmes said that Sondland told him the president didn't give an expletive about Ukraine and only cared about big stuff like the Biden investigation.
Mr. Sondland has to decide whether his primary loyalty is to America or whether his primary loyalty is to the President of the United States.
It comes after a whirlwind day of hearings. Kurt Volker, U.S. envoy to Ukraine and a key witness requested by the Republicans, claimed he didn't realize the investigations Trump was demanding were into the Bidens, but admitted he should have.
In retrospect, I should have seen that connection differently, and had I done so, I would have raised my own objections.
And for the first time, the public heard from first-hand witnesses who were on the call that sparked this impeachment inquiry.
Frankly, I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, a decorated war veteran and top Ukraine expert on the National Security Council, called Trump's actions improper and a partisan play and reported it to his superior. But Republicans questioned Vindman's loyalty.
Mr. Vindman, you testified in your deposition that you did not know the whistleblower. Ranking member, it's Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, you testified in the deposition that you did not know who the whistleblower was or is.
I do not know who the whistleblower is.
At the White House, the president attacking Vindman in real time.
I don't know him. I don't know, as he says, Lieutenant Colonel, I understand somebody had the misfortune of calling him Mr. and he corrected them. I never saw the man. I understand now he wears his uniform when he goes in.
After 9 hours of testimony, the Democratic chairman, Adam Schiff, concluding with this stark message for Republicans.
Their objection is that someone blew the whistle. That's their objection, not that the president engaged in this conduct, but that he got caught.
Now, Sondland's testimony is just the first one that we will hear today. After him, 2 more officials will testify here. They are plowing through these hearings, George, at a really head-spinning pace.
That's right, Mary. But it is all about Ambassador Sondland today. He's a Democratic witness. But I was struck by this quote from one of the president's closest allies on Capitol Hill, Congressman Mark Meadows of North Carolina. He says the impeachment effort comes down to one guy, Ambassador Sondland. All the other testimony has a Sondland core to it and a Sondland connection.
Yeah, and George, Republicans that we've talked with are expressing some concern that Sondland could go further today than he has in the past. Their fear is that Sondland is a wild card and that he could essentially flip on the president.
Okay, Mary Bruce, thanks very much. Let's talk more about this now with our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. And Dan, one of the reasons this is a concern, as Mary talked about in her piece, is that so many other witnesses have contradicted things that Ambassador Sondland said in his depositions.
Right, and they're all talking about, I talked to Sondland, Sondland told me, Sondland was basically expressing the view of the president. And that's why he's so important. He's sort of the Michael Cohen of Ukraine, the kind of enforcer on behalf of the president. And the question is, how directly is Sondland going to say, the president told me to do this? Not Rudy Giuliani, not Pompeo, but the president. I talked to the president, because anytime you have someone in between the president and somebody else, the answer can always be, well, Rudy went rogue. We didn't know what Rudy was doing.
So the question would be, how closely does he tie the president to this? How closely does he tie Rudy to the president? And one of the things we heard from Ambassador Taylor last week is that this is not just a one-off. He had at least 5 conversations with the president.
Absolutely. And the most important thing he's going to say today is there was a quid pro quo. We know he's going to say that. He's going to say that a White House meeting, at the very least, was conditioned upon investigation into 2016, investigation into Burisma. And that's sort of what Sondland's job was in this Ukraine business, was to basically say, look, we can get this meeting, we can get you the White House meeting, but you're going to have to do these other things. The question is going to be, what is he going to say about the aid? Meaning, it is much more problematic for the White House if the link was to the aid rather than just the White House meeting.
Any question in your mind he's the most important witness yet?
Absolutely not. This all comes down to Sondland. If you believe Sondland and you think he's important, then the president's in trouble. If you either don't believe Sondland or don't think he's important, then there is no real issue.
Okay, Dan, I know you're sticking by. You're going to be joining our coverage of the House impeachment hearings. They begin at 9 Eastern right here on ABC. Michael?
All right, thank you, George. And now to that breaking news. 2 American service members killed in a helicopter crash in Afghanistan. The U.S. military said the cause of the crash is under investigation. Preliminary reports indicate enemy fire wasn't to blame, but the Taliban is claiming responsibility. This, of course, comes on the heels of that controversial prisoner swap on Tuesday. 2 professors from the American University in Afghanistan were released in exchange for 3 Taliban officials. 13,000 U.S. troops are currently in Afghanistan. Cecilia?
Okay, Michael, back here at home, the 5th Democratic primary debate is about to get underway. 10 candidates set to face off in Atlanta. ABC's Lindsay Davis is right there for it all. And Lindsay, fewer candidates this time around and a new name surging in some polls.
That's right. Good morning to Cecilia. This is where the 10 candidates are going to hit the stage. Right behind me here tonight at Tyler Perry's brand new $250 million studio. And it could be a backdrop for drama. After all, this is the first debate since that new Iowa caucus poll, which shows Mayor Pete Buttigieg as a frontrunner. According to that poll released Sunday, the 37-year-old mayor of South Bend, Indiana, is currently in first place, while Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Bernie Sanders, and former Vice President Joe Biden are all tied for second place. So watch for the other candidates to take aim at Mayor Pete, but Biden could still take his fair share of fire. He's still holding on to long or big advantages as far as voter support in several states, including South Carolina. Cecilia.
Yeah, Lindsay, you mentioned that poll there in Iowa with Buttigieg in the lead. He's going to have a target on his back tonight because of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly the expectation. And what's being dubbed Pete Mentum is that he's going to face some heat from his fellow candidates on the stage there. You know, but Buttigieg has a major problem even before he steps foot on the stage, and that is the lack of support from black voters. According to the most recent Quinnipiac poll, it shows that he's actually getting 0% from South Carolina black voters. Also worth noting, Cecilia, this is the first time ever that a presidential debate is taking place at an African-American forum.
It will be must-see. Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Michael?
All right, thank you. Now to that campus on edge over several racist incidents. The FBI is now joining the investigation at Syracuse University after a racist manifesto was airdropped on the students' phones at the library. Our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, has the latest. Good morning, Pierre.
Michael, good morning. Minority students at Syracuse University apparently targeted with a series of hate-filled messages so concerning that the governor of New York and the FBI are now involved. This morning, the FBI has joined the investigation into a series of racist messages and hate crimes that have rocked the Syracuse campus this past month.
I feel uneasy at times just because I don't necessarily know how the people around me view me.
Among the disturbing images, a white supremacist manifesto that's allegedly circulating on campus. The hate-filled document appears to be a copy of the manifesto of the mass murder at Christ Church in New Zealand. School officials say they do not believe it's a credible threat, but suspect it's connected to several other racist incidents that have caused students to stage multiple sit-ins.
The students who were a part of the protest in the Barnes Center created a short list of demands.
According to some students, the manifesto was airdropped to their laptops Monday night anonymously.
We want to try to find the author of the individual that released that manifesto.
Since November 7th, at least 10 hate-fueled instances have occurred at this university of 23,000, including a swastika carved into a snowbank and a black student who says she was verbally harassed by a group of fraternity members who she says hurled racial slurs at her. All social activities at fraternities have been suspended through the rest of the semester. Police are increasing patrols on campus, and the FBI is trying to find out who is behind these incidents. And they're asking for the public's help, encouraging people to dial 315-442-5222 with any tips. George?
It is such a disturbing situation. Okay, Pierre, thanks very much. Now to those flash floods hitting the west. There are new winter storm warnings this morning, and Rob's tracking it all. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, George. This combo storm is really what's creating a havoc across 9 states. We have alerts from winter weather advisories to rain to flash flood warnings just south of Vegas. But it's California really that is the most impacted by this because it's getting it all because of the topography. So let's zoom into this area and show you what we got. San Diego, you've already seen in the county over 2 inches of rainfall. So flash flood watch continues today. And then snow alerts across the Sierra. Could see over a foot of snow in some spots just south of Tahoe, go through Mammoth Lakes, and just outside of Los Angeles, about 6,000 feet, could see over a foot of snow there. But some difficult driving along I-5, but really along I-10, I-8, I-15 because of the heavy rainfall there. Here's how that storm is going to move across the U.S. Kind of a double barrel low. We've got the upper low that hangs back here. That's where all the big snow is going to come. And then across the Midwest, it's going to be a messy situation, I think, tonight and tomorrow morning from Oklahoma City up through Chicago. Heavy rain down across parts of Little Rock, and yes, a little bit of snow on the backside of this. A little bit of wind on the backside of this as well. Could see a fire threat for California. Talk more about that in a bit. Cecilia?
Hey, Rob, thanks. We're going to turn out to new trouble for Boeing, affecting thousands of planes in service right now. Safety regulators are recommending a redesign of the engine cover after that horrifying, deadly incident on a Southwest flight last year. David Curley is at Reagan National Airport with the latest on this. Good morning, David.
Morning, Cecilia. This is a broad, wide-ranging recommendation affecting nearly 7,000 next-generation 737s, all a result of that accident you may remember, which resulted in the first aviation death in the U.S. in nearly a decade. A few horrifying seconds, an engine failure. The fuselage breached, a passenger partially sucked out of a window on Southwest Flight 1380 last year in April.
Southwest 1380 has an engine fire descending.
It was engine debris that shattered this window where passenger Jennifer Reardon was sitting at 30,000 feet.
The bottom part of her rib cage was out the window.
They said there was a hole and someone went out.
I'm sorry, you said there was a hole and somebody went out?
The mother later dying from her injuries. Tammy Jo Schultz was the captain of the 737, passengers praising her quick thinking.
It was rather radical, and it
yaw, and then it began its own descent.
When engine blades break, they're supposed to be contained and ejected out the rear of the engine. But in this case, the engine cover broke away and pieces pierced the jet's skin. This morning, the NTSB is sounding the alarm, urging Boeing and the engine maker to redesign those covers for all 6,800 Boeing 737 NextGens in service around the world.
We recommended that engine and aircraft manufacturers develop more robust designs.
Now, Boeing says it already has a fix that will satisfy the NTSB recommendations. It's a couple of months away, and it will need FAA approval. And Boeing says this shouldn't affect holiday travel because there are more inspections of these fan blades that were breaking in 2 incidents with the 737. They say that reduces the risk of a repeat of the Southwest accident. Michael?
All right, we sure hope it does. Thank you so much, David. And now to that flu alert and signs that this season may be starting to pick up. The CDC is reporting that 30 states already have flu activity, which is unusually high for this time of the year. And Janae Norman is here with the details. Good morning, Janae.
Michael, good morning. We're already talking 60% of the country. Those 30 states, that's a higher number than at the same point last year or even for the last 10 years. Take a look at this map. You'll see California, Louisiana, and Maryland there in red. Those 3 states are already seeing widespread flu activity. There's regional flu activity in 7 other states and what's known as local activity in 20 more states plus Puerto Rico. Now, last year at this time, the number of states reporting cases of the flu was minimal. But once it got started, it was the longest season in a decade. In all, 61,000 people died. That number, though, is about on par for a typical season. So while the flu season may be starting early, the CDC can't predict really whether it will be any more intense than in previous years. But of course, they are warning folks at home to get your flu shot, anyone 6 months or older. And because the flu season looks like it's already getting started, they're saying don't wait any longer because remember, it takes 10 days to 2 weeks for that shot to start working.
Well, better safe than sorry.
Good reminder.
All right, thank you, Janae.
All right, guys, we're going to switch gears to some history made on the basketball court last night. The Lakers win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. LeBron James, listen to this, did something no other player has ever done before. He's now scored a triple-double against every single NBA team, all 30 of them. That is amazing. But wait, there's more. The real showdown going down at halftime. Look who jumped in on the dance floor. Yeah, you know her. That is tennis superstar Venus Williams showing off her moves. And then Super Bowl champ came out of retirement to show he still got it. That's former Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski. He's feeling it on the court with the Lakers girls. A lot of fun there.
All righty. Interesting.
You could be next, Michael.
No, thank you, George.
We are following a lot of other stories this morning, including that new twist in the Epstein investigation. 2 prison guards are now facing charges after his death. What prosecutors say they were looking at on the internet instead of monitoring the inmates.
And the text messages now revealed from that former college student charged in connection with her boyfriend's suicide, what she told him moments before. But first, let's go back over to Rob.
We are watching the fire threat out west, but now it's time for your Rainy Cities, brought to you by JCPenney.
Awkward. And awesome. Awesome mostly.
JCPenney. Remember the little things. JCPenney. Remember the little things.
And good Wednesday to you as the sun comes up. A brighter day for us during the afternoon hours. We'll start out with some clouds, but without the fog. We'll go from the 40s to the 50s by lunchtime today. Your high 54, albeit it will be a little breezy. Tomorrow, some morning sunshine followed by afternoon clouds. The high just as nice, 54. 60 degrees, mild showers on Friday. Those showers will move through about 1 to 5 p.m. And then chilly rain expected on Saturday, but after 1 o'clock, 51 with sunshine Sunday.
Big new twist in the Jeffrey Epstein case. We'll be right back.
The season is here. And it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20%